Test. There we go. All right. Well, it helps when you turn your mic on. All right. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Not the morning that we wanted to start out with. We have several tornado warnings in effect, so I want to get right to that. In the immediate Dallas Fort Worth area, other than Northwest Tarrant County, no tornado warnings, but we'll kind of talk about that in just a second. We have this line of thunderstorms, and I apologize, I have a little congestion this morning. So voice is a little lower than usual, but that's okay. So we have these line of severe storms that are making its way through the Metroplex, and it is. Let me do something here real quick. I apologize. There we go.
Severe
Okay.
thunderstorm warning for southeastern Parker County in north central Texas,
All right.
Tarrant County in
Sorry about
north
that. Okay.
central
Anyway, so we
Texas.
have the line of storms that are coming through the Metroplex. We have a tornado warning. I have another warning going off there right now. Hold on just a second. Let me see what that is. Okay, that's from that storm just south of the tornado warning, but we'll talk about that in just a second. Okay, so I apologize about the technical difficulties. It is early in the morning. It's way too early to be doing this, but we need to get everybody up to date on what's going on. Okay, so let's put the storm relative velocity on this particular storm. So this is a storm in northwest Denton County. So if you know of anybody that lives in not quite Trophy Club, Angela, I know you're probably listening and watching, but if you know anybody that lives in just anything north of Loop 820 in Tarrant County, especially in west of Interstate 35W, they definitely need to be taking shelter at this point. Let me just outline the rotation right here. So it's this rotation actually has tightened up a little bit. It was a little looser earlier when it was west of Azle. So this is that classic spin up tornado along severe thunderstorm line. So this is not your classic supercell individual storm cell that you see these typically long track tornadoes. Although it's not to say this couldn't be on the ground for a long time, but it's not your classic situation. However, if you're underneath the circulation, then obviously it doesn't matter whether it's a traditional supercell or not because it is going to cause damage. So I'm going to put this in motion, kind of give you the evolution of what's going on, and I am going to pull something up while I'm doing that because I don't know that. Yeah, I don't have my chat on here, so I got to look at my chat on my phone. So sorry about that. Okay, yes, Angela, don't say Trophy Club. Yeah, sorry about that. Okay, so anyway, so you can see the circulation was a little looser, not quite as tight when it was southwest of Azle, but in the last couple of frames, it's definitely tightened up. So it's definitely concerning if you live anywhere in northwest Denton County. I wouldn't be surprised if they if this circulation keeps like it's going. I wouldn't be surprised to see a tornado warning issued by the Weather Service for something like that. So it's bears watching. So I would say if you know people, or if you're watching from this area, if you're watching from Justin Trophy Club, sorry Angela, uh, Lantana, Highland Village, Argyle. Denton probably gonna go south of you, but if you're in Denton, if you have kiddos at UNT or TWU, just text them and make sure that they know what's going on. Louisville, like I said, there is no warning issue currently, but I just wouldn't be surprised if there was. But the thing that we need to look at, whether there's a warning or not, is that again we have this circulation. Um, get my screen to work here. Again, we had that circulation right just over Azle. This radar frame is probably just a tad behind because there's always a little delay on the internet. So, excuse me. So if you live in Azle or know friends that live in Azle, they should be taking cover already. And if you, like I said, if you are anywhere near, basically, if you're in southern Denton County, you need to prepare to potentially take shelter. You need to watch it very closely. All right, so let's expand this out. Go back to the reflectivity mode and see what we got here from a bigger picture standpoint. So earlier in the morning, and this radar goes back several hours. So the red box is a tornado watch. Obviously, that's a little secondary to the initial tornado warnings. So in the bigger picture, we have a tornado warning in Hood County. That's Granbury. So if you know anybody who lives down that way, tell them to take shelter if you live in Granbury, or know people that live in Granbury. Shoot them a text, give them a call, just whatever you think you can do if you need to, if they live down in that area. And then there's a tornado warning north of Gainesville about to go into Oklahoma. So those are our 3 tornado warnings at the moment. And then on top of all that, we have a severe thunderstorm warning for basically the eastern half of Parker County and all of southern half of Tarrant County that's not in the tornado warning. So it's it's a busy morning, unfortunately. And that that severe thunderstorm warning is for 60-mile-an-hour wind gust and nickel-sized hail. Hail is not a big deal this morning, although I'm not saying you couldn't see any hail, but it's not the main threat this morning. It's these spin-up tornadoes along lines. And sometimes people, they hear the spin-up tornadoes, they don't maybe take it as seriously because it's not the traditional supercell tornado. But if there's a spin-up tornado or not, it doesn't matter. It could be damaging if you're underneath it. So definitely take it seriously. All right, so I am going to switch to a bigger picture here and show you kind of the overall warnings. That's a satellite picture, so we'll go back to that one in just a second. There we go. That's the one I was looking for. Okay, so this is just a little bit bigger picture. This shows you the entire North Texas area. The red outline is the tornado watch box. And then, of course, you see the red polygons that are tornado warnings, and the yellow polygon that's a severe thunderstorm warning for Tarrant County. So that's kind of the bigger picture. So the good news with all this is that once this line moves through, we're done for today. There's no more severe weather, and we're going to be good to go. So that's the good news. However, we got to get through that first. That's always the trick, right? Okay, so let me go back to the radar here, and we'll go back and get an update on that. Okay, and if you look at the bottom of the screen, if you're watching this later, I did put a clock in there, so if you have some real-time idea what time it is, especially if you're watching this on a delay a little bit, just that way you have a reference on what time it is at the moment. So like I said, for those of you just joining us, the most pressing issue right now is the tornado warning. Technically for northeastern Parker County and northwestern Denton County. If you're in Parker County, the northeastern part of Parker County, even though the warning's still there, I know the Weather Service is probably going to delete that part of the polygon here in just a second with an update. But if you're in eastern Parker County, you're good. Now, I will say, though, if you're around Aledo in the southeastern part of Parker County, definitely some rough weather, severe thunderstorm warning criteria there. So while there's not a tornado, it's definitely going to be rough weather. And again, anywhere along this line, this is what we have to watch. Anywhere along this line, we could have this spin-up tornado. So that's just really the unpredictability of it as far as how these tornadoes can spin up. And the reason we kind of call them spin-up tornadoes, and there is the updated polygon from the Weather Service. So just northwestern Tarrant County, really. Again, depends on the evolution of the storm, whether they issue a tornado warning for southern Denton County. We'll see. But that's the most pressing concern, at the moment. And I would just point out, just for grins, scattered storms, nothing severe popping up over east central Dallas County, heading to the northeast. Nothing to worry about from that standpoint quite yet. We'll watch that, obviously. Because anything today, until this front moves through, anything today is going to be, worth watching until this cold front comes through. All right, so let's zoom back in on this storm here in northwestern Denton County. Let's put the reflectivity on here. Let's see. Okay, it's still there. I was looking at the reflectivity part of it, and I was thinking maybe it had kind of the circulation had weakened a little bit. I don't think it's weakened. It probably stayed about the same. But again, hopefully you can see that on your phone or your monitor, however you're watching. Pretty tight circulation right there. As you can see, a lot of lightning around it, so that's telling us that this storm means business. And you can also see, this classic hook in the line, this QCLS tornado that we call it. And it's early morning, so hopefully I got that the initials in the right order. So again, these spin up tornadoes that can definitely do some damage. All right, so let's actually zoom in on this a little bit more. So there's a couple different layers we can look at. Let's look at the correlation coefficient here. Yeah. Sometimes we use this for a debris signature. Don't see one here, so that's good. And there's no guarantee that this is on the ground, so that's just because we have a tornado warning doesn't mean it's on the ground. But the Weather Service obviously is pretty confident that there definitely could be one. And I don't have my storm spotter reports on my other monitor, so I haven't seen if there's been any ground truth, as we call it, to this particular storm. But again, fairly tight circulation, so looks like it's just south of Pecan Acres. Again, this is northwest Denton County, or excuse me, Tarrant County, northwest of Eagle Mountain. If you live in Hazlet, again, Trophy Club is not technically in the polygon, but it's definitely something worth watching. Keller is in the polygon, so you definitely want to seek shelter if you're in Keller. And I would always say too, this is, even though it's December and we don't think a lot about tornadoes in December, although as we know, if anybody that's lived here any length of time knows that we can have tornadoes in any month. We tend to associate it with spring, obviously. And so it's one of those things that we always have to be aware of. And this is a good time to remind everybody that if you don't have a bicycle helmet or any kind of helmet in your house, if you don't have one now, it's probably a little too late. But in the future, get a bicycle helmet that protects your head. If a tornado were unfortunately to strike your neighborhood, it would protect your head from flying debris. You definitely want to have, we always talk about getting in the bathtub and all that, and which is, what you just seek shelter in the sturdiest part of your house. But we definitely need to protect our head. And, we need to have hard-soled shoes. So, again, if you had to walk over debris, you wouldn't puncture your feet with debris, nails, things like that. Want to have a flashlight for sure, lose power, especially at night. And then, as Jane Spann in Alabama always likes to say, which I agree with, is that, want to have air horns. So if you happen to be trapped, you could, and you can't say anything, then you could blow that air horn, and the rescue workers can hopefully find you that way. So just some tips to think about in the future. Hopefully you have some of that already. Of course, hopefully everybody has a first aid kit in your house. Okay, so let's expand this back out. And I will say this, if I am missing comments, I apologize. Hopefully I'm not. I'm sure I am. Let's see if I am or not. Okay, not too many. I know everybody's just at work, or tied up. This is a busy time of morning, so let's see. Okay, so and if I missed a comment or something, please let me know. Well, I guess you could let me know. I still wouldn't see it. Let me try something here. Let's see if I could pull this up. Here we go. Let's see. Okay, I don't. Okay, I don't see. I did see a couple comments earlier. So anyway, hopefully I'm not missing that. But I know it's early in the morning, relatively speaking, from a work standpoint. Okay, so with that, so I'll try to watch that the best I can. I'm trying to answer all the questions if they come up. But again, it's almost right at 8 o'clock. And again, that's why I have the clock down in the corner there. So if you're watching live or watching a little bit later, you know that if you're watching this a little bit delayed, then you know that's what time this was going on live. All right, so I could probably understand why the Weather Service hasn't extended the warning now, because the circulation starting to fall apart here. So might be just a little bit right here, but not near as strong, which is good. Good news. Not near as strong as it was. Okay, so the latest update on the warning, which was 8 minutes ago, looks like nothing was confirmed on the ground. It's just radar at possible tornado. They, radar indicated rotation, so not even radar indicated on the tornado on the ground. So that's good. So this circulation is, thankfully, it's weakening, and if that trend continues, I would suspect that the Weather Service would discontinue that warning. Although let's see if I can pull that back up. Maybe not. That expires at 8:15. So they may let it go till 8:15. They may cancel it early. It just depends. Okay, so now let's kind of expand the picture out just a little bit here. And this is, in a big scheme of things, this is good news that the line is solidifying. And I'm going to put this in motion. I think this will go back. I think, yeah, about 2 hours. So I was thinking it went back further than that, but back when this line was west of Mineral Wells, it was definitely more. The storms were definitely more segmented, and so that was bad news because we saw a lot of tornado warnings out that way. But as a line has consolidated, which is good news from an individual tornado cell, um, you know, standpoint. Obviously we can have these spin up tornadoes on the line, and so that's definitely going to be a threat until this line moves through. So I would say, so that's as you can tell, the general motion is east, maybe east northeast, and so I would say if you are anywhere from Decatur, or no people, from Decatur to Azle, Weatherford, probably east of Weatherford now, west of Granbury, you are in the clear. Your morning is done from a severe weather standpoint. If you obviously are west of that line, it is not done yet. But that's the bad news. The good news is this line is moving fairly steadily east. And so, like I said, it's a little bit after 8 o'clock now. I think that we'll see this line continue its steady progression to the east. And probably for most of the Metroplex, which would be certainly Denton and Tarrant County, but probably Collin and Dallas County, you'll see these storms be out of the area around 9 o'clock. I would say, obviously if your area's east, Rockwall, Greenville, Kaufman, Terrell, Endpoint southeast, yes, you'll have a little bit more of a morning to deal with these storms. Okay, so I just want to see if they extend this warning or not. But while we're waiting on that, let's check on our friends down south in the Granbury area. So let's see. We put the reflectivity, velocity, excuse me, on this storm. Yeah, nothing. Thankfully, nothing too impressive. Let's put this in motion. Yeah, Ronnie, the tight rotation coming in the Hazlet area. You're right. We'll go back to that storm in just a second. Yeah, so if you see on this storm, pretty tight rotation when it was west of Granbury. And then, as you can see, that bright red and white, but the circulation is really weakened. So, again, unless that ramps up, I don't suspect that they will continue that tornado warning. All right, let's go back up to the storm that Ronnie pointed out. Thank you, Ronnie. All right, so again, I can understand why the Weather Service hasn't canceled the tornado warning because there's still a decent circulation, not near as tight as it used to be. It's probably the tightest rotation right there. Again, nothing like it was before, and we put that in motion. kind of you can see the evolution of things. And like I said, very tight rotation in the western part of northwest Tarrant County. Yeah, so it's about to. Well, really, it's already crossed over into southwestern Tarrant County. So yeah, well, but there's not a warning issued there, so that's something that's just we'll just have to watch it closely. So no tornado warning, so I definitely don't want to alarm anybody. However, again, if you this could spin up again. So if you live or you have friends that live in Justin, Argyle, even Highland Village, Corinth, Denton even. Just something to watch. Nothing to be alarmed about at this point, but just something to watch. I would say within the next 30 minutes, it would cross a path, starting down again where it is now, southwest of Justin, over into Denton and northeast of that. So just something to watch. Nothing too alarming at this point. All right, so let's go back to reflectivity one more time and get you a bigger picture. And unless something really ramps up again, that's not going to work. Unless something really ramps up again, we will probably call it for this particular live update. So let's go a little bit. Well, I don't want to go that far. Let's see. And oh, okay. Thanks, Brandon. I had some microphone issues earlier. Hopefully, I'm going to hold it here. So if you don't mind, if you can tell me that's better, I appreciate that.
Severe thunderstorm warning
busy,
for
so
Johnston
yes,
County
like I said, I had some
southeastern
microphone issues
Oklahoma,
earlier.
northwestern
It's early in
Bryan
the morning,
County
and
in southeastern Oklahoma,
when you hop on real fast,
central Marshall County in
takes a while
southeastern
to,
Oklahoma.
Okay, better. Okay, I'll get it
Southwestern
best. I
County
promise.
in
Okay,
southeastern
probably not this go
Oklahoma.
around. Okay, so anyway, let's put this in motion and see what we got. Again, nothing terribly bad. Okay, I did just see they did not they canceled early the tornado warning for northwest Denton County, so that's good. But again, like I said, just if you're in the southern part of Denton County, especially, just just watch it. And obviously I'll be watching it for you too. So the overall theme, and again, we have the one tornado warning in North Texas around Granbury, but we just looked at that circulation. It's not terribly impressive, so hopefully it'll stay that way. So here's the bottom line for now. It's about 8:08 as the clock says. So this line of storms is in the western part of the Metroplex. Moving east, we have one severe thunderstorm warning in southern Tarrant County. 60-mile-an-hour winds possible, up to quarter-size hail possible. I haven't seen a lot of widespread reports of that, so I think we're not doing too bad there. But just again, something to be on the lookout for. Then by 9 o'clock for most of us should be good. So unless there is some really nasty weather coming up, I will go ahead and I'll sign off. And if there's something that's really newsworthy, since we all have jobs for livings and we have to work, I will sign off. But however, if there is something worth talking about, I will come back on and let you know exactly what's going on. All right, so I appreciate you watching. I'm watching the weather, so you don't have to. I hope everyone has a great Tuesday, especially probably after 9 o'clock. And winter is arriving again, starting late today and the rest of the week. So get ready for that. We'll talk about that at another time. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you, and we will talk to you soon.